How's it going, everyone? And welcome back to Rangers Rundown. An exciting game tonight. A lot of things happening. The Rangers moving on with some good pressure down this beginning of the season, but something to be slightly concerned about. Shesterkin did leave the game towards the end. Probably just concussion protocol, but again, you can never be sure. So hopefully in the coming hours and hopefully by tomorrow we'll know more. But let's hop into this. Chytil is officially on the injured reserve with an upper body injury, so the Rangers without their second line center. Not a great position to be in, but as you can see, they're still managing to win games. So we would like to have Chytil in the lineup, but Rangers played well tonight without him. Hopefully that extends into tomorrow in the next couple games. Hopefully Chytil comes back soon, though. Lineup tonight: Blaze, Zibanejad, Kreider for that top line, Panarin, Strome, Kakko, Lafreniere, Gaudreau, Gauthier, Hunt, Rooney, Reeves, then Lindgren, Fox, Miller, Trouba, Nemeth, Lundqvist with Shesterkin in net for most of the game. We get into the first period. Good minute of pressure to start for the Rangers. It's important for them as a team to start early. They do struggle still in first periods, so it's important for this team to get off to a good start, build some confidence, build some momentum. But 1:14, Miller takes a hooking penalty. It was just one of those necessary penalties that you have to take every now and then to stop Bjorkstrand from getting a good opportunity. Shesterkin made a couple of great saves. Rangers giving up a lot of good chances early in the game, which is something they really need to get away from. 5-6 minutes into this game, I was getting worried that the Rangers were falling into their old patterns. But 5 minutes in, Shesterkin looked a little bit shaken up, which just made things worse. He did stay in the game. He was probably just stretching, but he did look a little shaken up. 8:09, Blais takes a cross-checking penalty, and he broke his stick over the player's back. So if that happens, you are definitely going to get called. And then at 8:59, Voracek would score his first goal of the season, surprisingly. He does have double-digit assists, but this was his first goal of the season, and it was a power play goal. He used Trouba as a screen. He got it under the blocker of Shesterkin. Shortly after that, Panarin's sloppiness leads to a 2-on-1. Shesterkin would stop that, and it's at this point I'm thinking to myself, the Rangers haven't played since Monday against the Panthers, so they've had 5 days off, probably 3 or 4 practices in the mix there. Is this them just getting their legs back since they haven't played a game in a while? Or is this something different? Is Columbus really playing that well? Or is this the Rangers playing sloppy? Like, you would think in 3 or 4 practices, you would be able to address some of the things that have been going wrong since the start of the season. And halfway through the first period, I don't think the Rangers fans were convinced that anything had been fixed. Now, we can look at this game overall and say things are starting to move in the right direction for sure, but halfway through this first period, that was not very apparent. 13:57, Shesterkin made a huge save, and I'm sure at this point he's frustrated with his team not playing well in front of him, giving up a lot of good opportunities. I'm sure he has no problem making those big saves. He loves playing the game, but maybe fewer big saves per game might help him out in the long term. Lindgren has already gotten into the face of 2 players, so Lindgren doing Lindgren things. Good shift from the fourth line with the third defensive pair on the ice. So the quote-unquote weakest 5 players on the roster, quote-unquote, the fourth line has been playing very well recently. They get a good shift going, and once the Rangers figure this out and they can roll 4 lines, this is going to be a high-scoring team. That needs to happen sooner rather than later. Chytil needs to be healthy and come back, and all 4 lines just need to get going. Fourth line, pretty much every shift they were on the ice tonight, they generated some sort of offense, which is great. Now we just need the other 3 lines to keep cooking the way they are, and this team's going to be really good. 17:29, Panarin would score a goal. It was almost an amazing save from Merzlikins. Panarin receives a pass that was tipped on his way to him, so he has to handle the puck a little bit before he can shoot it. He does get the shot off. Merzlikins gets his arm down and does hit the puck, but it does go into the back of the net. If he had stopped it, would have been an amazing save, but luckily for us, it does go in the back of the net, tying the game 1-1. Rangers keep pressure afterwards, 1852. Shesterkin made a great pad save, and it ended up being covered in the crease. Another Rangers player shuffles it underneath him. They get the stoppage of play. End of the first period, shots 12-9 in favor of Columbus. So, Rangers continuing their pattern of being outshot in games, but somehow staying in them. Second period, early pressure for Columbus, but a good shift by the first line for the Rangers. Columbus controlling play in the early part of the period. Zibanejad getting banged up. I wasn't sure if he was going to stay on the bench or not. He seemed to be waning every now and then up until this point in the game. Nemeth blocks another shot, which really stung him, so he went to the bench. He was wincing a little bit. 6:21, Rooney came streaking in for a chance, and, you know, Rooney's not going to score 20 goals in a season, but he's showing that he's becoming an important player for this Rangers team. You know, if you want to roll 4 lines, you need 4 centers, and Rooney's been a decent center for this team so far this season. But shortly after that, 6:56, Robinson would score a goal. He got inside the dot, just put it right over the shoulder of Shesterkin. Probably one he wants back, but Columbus goes up 2-1. And then the floodgates open for the Rangers. 7:39, Kreider scores a goal. It was a deflection 5-hole, and it's another goal against Merzlikins. If you remember back to the first time these two teams met, Merzlikins and Kreider were jawing at each other pretty much the whole game. And tonight, Kreider scores another 2 goals against him, so Merzlikins is probably not happy. And then at 8:15, Panarin would score his second goal of the game, and Strome would get his second assist of the game. And then 30 seconds later at 8:42, Trouba would score a goal. So Rangers 3 goals in 1 minute and 3 seconds. They just went off. Gauthier had an assist on that Trouba goal, his first point of the season, so congratulations to him, monkey off the back. And then Columbus calls a timeout. You have to at that point. Team scores 3 goals in 1 minute on you, you call a timeout. You got to slow down the play, get your team back with their head screwed on, and push back out. 11:47, Gauthier storms the blue line and draws a penalty, which was Chinnikov for tripping. Kreider almost scores, but pad save, and then Kreider almost deflected it in for his second chance on that power play. Very dominant power play, that one. Another great shift by the fourth line. Reeves has a chance. He hasn't scored a goal yet as a Ranger, and he had a couple really good chances tonight, but no goal for Reeves just yet. 3 minutes left in the period. Kakko makes a play into the crease, and then Strome with a chance. Another good shift by the fourth line towards the end of the period. And then at 19:25, Jenner would take an interference penalty. And on the 35 seconds of power play towards the end of that second period, Rangers just shooting everything at the net. They want to keep racking up the goals and get up as much as they can before that third period. Nothing would go in at the end of the second, but Rangers outshot Columbus 19-7. In that second period. And this is the Rangers team that needs to start being consistent. This second period tonight needs to be the standard they hold themselves to for the rest of the year. They can't have more periods like the first period we saw tonight, where they're just behind the curve, they're being outshot. This second period needs to be what they strive for the foreseeable future. We go into the third period. Rangers have just under 1.5 minutes of power play left, and Panarin hits the crossbar very early in the period. But then 52 seconds in, Kreider would score a power play goal, his second goal of the night. Zibanejad, very patient with the puck, and he gets the pass to Kreider, who's right in front of the net where he makes his money. And he deflects it in for his second goal of the evening, his 7th power play goal of the season, which leads the NHL. Kreider having a very, very good start to the season. Miller has a good shot shortly after, but 1 minute and 57 seconds in, Rooney takes a holding penalty. Shesterkin clears the puck himself. He loves handling the puck. And one time it got to him and he said, "I got this." He shoots it all the way down. So he's good with handling the puck. I'm good with him handling the puck. Go for it. Columbus has a good shift right after that power play. 6:17, Blais dekes into the slot for a good chance. He still does not have a goal this season, but he does have a handful of helpers. Shesterkin, very good save on Werenski. 8:20, Reeves almost scores, but it was a great save by Merzlikins. Reeves deflected it down into his feet and then gets a chance to put it in, but Merzlikins got his toe over far enough to prevent it from rolling into the net. So Reeves still a little snake bitten, but he's not on this team to score goals, so we're really not worried about it. He did hit a lot tonight, so he's doing his job. Rangers continue the pressure after that. Panarin chance for a hat trick. He had a couple chances for a hat trick tonight, but they didn't go in. And then at 13:15, Texier would score a goal. And you watch the replay and you're thinking to yourself, do the Rangers challenge for goalie interference? They didn't, and it wasn't. The puck was already in the net when Texier ran over Shesterkin. If they challenged, it probably would have failed, and then Columbus goes on the power play. So I think they made the right call not challenging it. Some of you may disagree. But Shesterkin did get run over on that play, and he went to the locker room. He got up off the ice. He was shaken up, but he looked fine, like he was getting his helmet back on. But I think because when Texier went over him, his knee hit Shesterkin in the side of the head, I think they brought him back to the locker room for concussion protocol. It didn't look like Shesterkin wanted to leave the ice, but he got called off because that's what happens now. If it looks like a concussion could be the result of a hit, the player goes off and they get checked. If it's not a concussion, they come back in. Shesterkin would stay off the rest of the game, so hopefully it's not a concussion. Hopefully they just said, hey, there's only 3 minutes left in the game. Why don't you just stay in the locker room? But we'll find out more tomorrow. So Georgiev comes in for the last 6-ish minutes of the game. With 5 minutes left, Strome had a chance, and Gauthier, another good play. He had a great game tonight, and which is good because I like Gauthier, and I think he is making a good case for himself to stay in this lineup. He's one of the guys that keeps getting rotated in, healthy scratched in the lineup. If he has more games like tonight, then he makes his case to stay in over somebody like Greg McKegg, who, say what you want, he's not going to make or break the Rangers season. I think Gauthier has more influence on this team than McKegg does. 2:19 left. The goalie is pulled by Columbus, and there was a play where Kakko could have shot for the open net, but he instead elected to pass to Panarin, trying to give him a hat trick. Kakko still does not have a point on the season. He could have scored his first goal of the night tonight, maybe, but instead he tries to give Panarin a hat trick. So Kakko being a very nice teammate, very selfless, when he should have probably been a little selfish. Because the Rangers didn't end up scoring an empty net goal tonight. They didn't need to, but it's always nice to get one. Hunt shot for the empty net and he missed wide. And then the game ends with Georgiev making, I believe, 2 saves, maybe 3. But Georgiev did make 2 or 3 saves tonight in stopping Columbus from getting any closer to tying the game. Rangers did a great job helping Georgiev keep shots away from him, get stuff into their offensive zone. So the last 6 minutes, very well played defensively by the Rangers. And again, the Rangers should take tonight's second and third period and just bookmark it in their brains for the rest of the season. This is how they need to play. Now, is this just the Rangers playing really well against Columbus this season? That's probably part of it, but I think they need to take this momentum and this play and this positivity from this game and bring it into Madison Square Garden tomorrow, where they play against the Devils, a team that, yes, is lower in the standings, but has been playing well. They did lose against the Bruins earlier today in the afternoon, but they're playing well. So if they can push this into tomorrow. Georgiev's probably in the net tomorrow, so Rangers need to play a little bit more defensively minded. But I think the Rangers can pull 4 points in 2 nights out of these 2 games. They've already got 2 in the bag. If they drop the game tomorrow against the Devils, it's not a huge deal, but you would like to see 2 wins in a row. End of this game, shots 41-36 in favor of the Rangers. So this is one of those rare times this season where the Rangers actually outshoot their opponents. Let's keep this moving. This is what needs to happen. Face-offs, 54.5% for the Rangers. Power play went 1 for 2. Hits 28-10 in favor of the Rangers, and I'm sure Reeves has 5 or 6 of those. Blocks 12-7 also in favor of the Rangers. The trivia question tonight: who are the only 3 New York Rangers players to score more than 6 power play goals in the first 13 games of a season? Before this game tonight, Kreider had 6 power play goals in the first 13 games. There were 3 Rangers players to score more than that in their first 13 games of a season. Jágr had 9, Shanahan had 7, and Hadfield also had 7. But tonight, Kreider now has 7 power play goals in the first 14 games of a season. So he is right behind those very, very good players. That is nice company to be in if you are Chris Kreider. But that was the game tonight. The Rangers are back in action tomorrow night at home against the Devils. Hopefully they pull off 2 wins in 2 nights. If you enjoyed this video and you'd like to see more videos like it, be sure to hit the subscribe button. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next rundown.